Hello everyone, thank you for joining in with today's video. Just want to thank you so much for all the really lovely messages that we've been receiving, and thank you so much for your kind donations. It means so much to us and we really do appreciate that. So a few of you have been saying, messaging us and letting us know that you felt a little bit down lately. And just to let you know, you're not the only one. There's a lot of us that are feeling that way at the moment. Hopefully with our practices such as our yoga, when we do our poses, when we do our focus on our breathing, when we can do a little bit of meditation as well, that can often help us to just basically connect a little bit more to ourselves and start to feel more present. So today's class is we're going to be working with lots of poses with the hamstrings. So lots of lovely leg work. So before you start the class, what you'll probably need is, if you've got your blanket, grab a blanket. If you've got a belt or something that will work as a belt, you can have that. Blocks and bricks. If you do have a couple of bricks, don't worry if you haven't. It's just for one of the poses later on that I'm going to show you that becomes quite helpful with toe. So we'll start off the class. We'll start off lying down in a comfortable supine position. So just lay yourself down, get nice and comfortable. Just move whatever you don't need out of the way. Just take these first few minutes just to basically connect to the body first of all. So notice what the back's feeling like. You can either have your legs bent or you can lengthen out your legs. Just take just a time here just to adjust and soften and relax the body from here. Just relax your shoulders, check out your shoulders, make sure that they feel soft and relaxed, that they're not tensing up, that they're not moving up to the ears. Let your eyes close or a nice soft gaze. And just let the whole back just relax now. Let it be supported by the earth. Just relax and soften the face. And as you do these first few moments of softening, you start to feel that you bring in this feeling of space and feeling of maybe just letting go into the body. And just simply be aware of how you're feeling right now, without judging, just simply noticing. And when you're ready, start to connect to your breath. And for those first few moments, we're not changing it. We're just simply being aware of our own natural breathing pattern. So just start to follow that if you can. And don't worry, your attention might be pulled away. There might be a noise. There might be a thought that just grabs that attention away. Absolutely natural. Just where you can, when you notice it, just start to bring it back. This first feeling of just starting to feel connected to the body, starting to feel connected to the breath. Keep relaxing, keep softening. And then after a few moments, then you can start to work a little bit more with your breath. So begin to breathe in and out through the nose if that feels appropriate. And we're not going to count the breath today. All we're going to just do is just see, when you breathe in, just see if you can follow that breath right to that very last bit of your natural pause where that breath ends. And then the same thing on that exhale, without forcing it too much. Just see if you can just gently follow that exhale to that very last bit. So we're going to be thinking about our hamstrings today. So these are the muscles that run along the back side of your thigh and that connects your pelvis to your knee. So many people, it is a common thing that many people do have tight hamstrings due to maybe some of the repetitive movements that we do. It can sometimes be due to poor posture, or it might just be something anatomy that just makes you have tight hamstrings. So when we work with the hamstrings and we're able to get some flexibility in there, it is quite a gradual process. So it can't be rushed. It's all about building up sometimes your practice bit by bit and being patient and kind to the body. And that leads us nicely into another bit of a theme that we're going to have thinking about in the class today, which is ahimsa. You've probably heard it quite a few times. Ahimsa means non-violence. So it includes the physical, mental and emotional violence towards ourselves or to other people. So it can be about, a lot of it is about not judging ourselves, not judging others. So maybe when you're in your postures today, just start to think about what goes on while you're in postures. Sometimes the ego kicks in and makes you want to feel that, you need to go further in the posture if you're not ready for that. And it's all about working kindly, it's a really nice word, kindly, with the body. And the body's going to respond a lot better if we take that approach of kindness. So let that seed, let that thought, let that intention of ahimsa, non-violence, being kind, being compassionate, just let it filter into you and try to take it into today's practice with you. So when you're ready, just allow yourself to bend your legs from here, and you're going to take your knees and hug your knees into your chest from here. And just draw them gently in, just see if you can soften the shoulders, see if you can let your back relax from here. We're going to do a few movements just to warm up the hips first, so it's going to be a really important part of the practice today that we do need to warm up the hips as well. So just doing a few twists, we'll take the legs, bend them back down to the floor. And you can keep your feet hip distance apart, or if it works for the hips today, take them a little bit wider. You either cactus the arms, or if you've got room to do so, reach your arms out to a nice T shape. And then working with your breath for these twists, what you're going to do is inhale, and as you breathe out, you're going to drop your knees to the right side. Let your head slowly turn towards that left side. And then using that inhale to come back to the centre. Breathing out, we'll take the knees over to that left side, head over towards the right. And just continue to work this way, using that exhale to release the knees, moving on to the edges of your feet. Start to maybe feel how your hips are feeling. We'll do a few more of these just to start to create a bit of openness, a bit of space in your hips today. And the next time that you've reached that left side, you can make that your last side. Come back to the centre from here. And then just release your arms down by the sides of the body. You move your feet in again, hip distance apart. So the next bit that we're going to do is we're going to do some nice drawing one knee in towards the chest, some nice arm movements. Your choice, you can either do it with your legs bent if it feels better for the back, or allow your legs to lengthen from here. So we're going to take an inhale, we're going to raise the arms behind you, have a nice stretch from here. Breathing out, draw the right knee in, hug the knee, hug around the shin and draw that knee in towards the chest. Releasing, let that leg go as we inhale, raise the arms behind you. Breathing out, draw your left knee in towards you, holding around that shin. And inhale, lengthen out the legs, raise the arms. Breathing out, right leg comes in. We might even be lifting the head if it feels good, drawing in the navel. Then breathing in, one more time, raising the arms away. Breathing out, draw your left knee in. You can lift the head if it feels good. And then inhale, just allowing your head to come back, releasing the legs. It's going to bend our legs from here, and we'll keep the feet hip distance apart. We're going to work towards stretching into those muscles in the back of the legs. So just for a moment, keep your left leg bent. You're going to take the right leg in towards you. You're going to hold around the back of the thighs. You can interlock the fingers. We're going to take a nice breath, and we're going to slowly allow our leg to lengthen up towards the sky. We're just going to hold it here for a few breaths. So try and relax your shoulders. if it's an option for you today, draw your toes of that right foot down towards you. And either deciding to stay here, or at this point you can lengthen your left leg away from you. And just remembering that action, that ahimsa of being kind to the body. If it's not comfortable to fully lengthen that leg up towards the sky, you can keep it more bent. You can even take it further away rather than taking it all the way up towards the sky. Just stay there a few more breaths. And the next option is now to walk your hands up the leg. So if it is okay, you can let your toes draw down towards you of that right foot. You can let your left leg as well be nice and active if it is lengthened out. And just see where your hands take you. They might just be a little way higher up. They might reach the foot. Remember, no judging. It doesn't matter where you've found this posture today. Another option would be to bend the arms, widen the arms, and encourage that leg to ease a little bit closer towards you. And the last option is, if you haven't got back problems, draw the navel in. You might even be able to lift that head up towards that leg, and at the same time, draw that leg towards you. Just take a few nice, easy breaths. Are you still working with that feeling of being kind to the body still? Notice what goes on in every posture. And then we'll slowly release the head. You can slowly start to take that journey. Walk the hands back from here. We'll just turn it into half happy baby pose. So that right leg bends. We draw that knee out towards the side of the body. Either continue to hold around that thigh or reaching up, take hold of the ankle. You can do the outside or the inside if that felt a better option. You can just rest the left hand and take a few nice easy breaths from here. Just feeling that we're in tune with the body today. And every day when we practice, it might feel a little bit different. So what might feel good one day, it might not feel good the other day. So just be aware of that and work with that. And then we'll release off that right side. So release that foot. Lengthen the leg. You might just have a little release of the legs from here. Bend both legs, and we'll do the same on your left side. So the left knee draws in towards you. You can hold around the back of that thigh, interlock the hands. We're going to raise that leg up, lift the leg up towards the sky. And if it's an option, let your toes gently draw down towards you. And just see whether you're working with that feeling of kindness with the body today. Knowing that if you need to bend the legs slightly, that is absolutely fine. Just try not to judge yourself. Let go of any judgment when you come to these poses. If you did it on the other side, it might be a nice option now to lengthen your right leg away from you. And we can either continue to hold it here. You might even be still drawing the toes of your left foot towards you and pressing your right toes up towards the sky. You can take that option of lifting the hands up a little bit higher. They might just reach a little bit. They might reach towards the ankle. They might even reach towards the foot. Next option would be to bend the arms, maybe encourage that leg towards you. And if you haven't got any back issues going on, you can draw that navel in. You can lift the head up towards the knee. Can you still breathe as well? Can you breathe freely? That's often the indication in these poses that you've found a good place. If your breath still feels calm and free. Slowly take your head back down to the floor, walking your hands back down the leg. And we'll do half happy baby pose on that side. So the left leg bends towards us. You move that knee so it comes more out towards the side. You reach up a little bit higher with that left hand, maybe take hold of outside of the foot or the inside, just to encourage a little bit more opening around that left hip. You just relax that left hand. We're just going to hold it here for a few breaths. And then release that leg. You can just take a moment just to gently shake the legs out from here. Bend the knees, draw both knees back in towards the chest. Give yourself a nice hug from here as you draw the knees gently towards you. And then just allow yourself to slowly roll over to one side and then let yourself press all the way up from here. And we're going to come straight into an all fours position from here. So at this point, you might need a little bit of padding for your knees. So if you need some padding, allow yourself to pad up your knees. Nice spread hands. So we've got a good base today and your knees are underneath your hips. Do a couple of cat stretches first. So inhale, let your tailbone lift. Let the front of the body, let your head lift. And breathing out, rounding over, drawing into that navel. Use your inhale to send through again, chest opens, head lifts last. And then breathing out, rounding over. Really let your head relax from here. Last round, inhale, tailbone lifts, front of the body and your head lifts. And then breathing out, rounding over, drawing into the navel. Then just coming back to an all fours. We're going to come straight into our downward dog. So those of you, if you do any modifications, wall work, you can come to the wall or you can come to your forearms and your knees if that's a better option. So you're going to tuck your toes under. Bit of a variation today is how we come in. If it works for the body, bring some weight back towards your heels. And then keeping that weight back, slowly start to lift up into your downward dog. You can stay up onto your toes for a few breaths. And then start to take some weight back towards your heels. And then you're going to bend your right knee. So you're going to allow your left heel to just gently lengthen down towards the earth. It doesn't matter if it doesn't reach. Just take some weight back. Swapping over, your left knee bends towards you. Your right leg starts to lengthen. That heel starts to bring some weight back down. One more time, right leg bends and left leg lengthens, getting a nice stretch into the muscles in the back of that leg. The next option, left leg bends, right knee lengthens back down. At this time, you can take a few moments to take both heels down. Nice base with your hands today. And then slowly bending the legs, coming back. Releasing the feet and take a few moments to breathe and rest in child's pose. So child's pose is always a resting pose. It always feels good after the downward dog. It's a chance for the wrist to relax. It's maybe a chance for you to come back to the breath. Make sure the breath still feels nice and balanced. You've got a nice inhales and exhales that are going on here. And then when you're ready, you're going to lift up again. We're going to find our downward dog again. We're going to do a variation with the leg, lifting leg, but we're also going to do some nice movements into the hips from here. So same thing, and you can do it again onto your forearms and your knees if you're feeling it quite strong on your wrist today. So we're pressing up again. We're finding our downward dog from here. And we're going to lift up your right leg first of all. So the right leg's going to lift away. And try to stretch it as much as you can. Give it a good stretch from here. And we're going to keep that leg lengthened. We're going to start to just circle that leg from here. So it doesn't matter which way you go first of all. And just be aware of the weight distribution on your hands. So try to keep that nice and even. And then once you've gone a few ways one way, just circling in that other direction. Knowing that you can rest sooner, you haven't got to stay as long in these poses. Listen, honour your body. And releasing that foot. We're going to step that right foot in between your hands from here. And you're going to rest your back knee down to the floor. You're going to release that foot. You can pad the knee at this point. If you're not doing knee work today, you can do some nice work into your standing warrior position. You're going to allow yourself to lift up onto that thigh. You're going to just find a bit of support with the floor by drawing up through the feet. Feel your stability. If it feels okay, we're going to raise the arms from here. I'm going to either just hold it here, or The next option would be to sink a little bit lower. And if it works, you might even take a bit of a mini back bend, but make sure that you're not compressing into your low back. Think about lifting your chest up towards the sky. And then we'll release the hands down from here. Step your knees back together and we'll return again to that downward dog. So tucking the toes under, lifting up. We're going to find that downward dog again. It's going to be the 3-leg dog in your left side this time. I'm going to do it this way because I've got more room. So your left leg is going to lift up and lengthen this time. And try to give it a really nice stretch from here. And then the same thing, we're going to just start to circle that leg from here. And it might be really small movements. Think about your hands. So don't let all the weight go into one hand as you're doing this. And then we're going to circle out in that other direction from here. Knowing that if you need to rest, that's absolutely fine. Good. And then lengthen it behind. Going to bend that leg and we're going to step that foot in between the hands from here. So your back knee's going to come down. You can release that foot. Remember, if you're not doing knee work, change it to a standing warrior position. You're going to lift up onto that thigh. Make sure that your knee is directly over your ankle. Draw in a bit of support with the navel. Root down with your feet. Next option would be to lift up the arms. We can hold it here. The next option to work a little bit more into those muscles in the hips would be to sink a little bit lower down from here. We might add that back bend at that point by lifting our chest, our heart up towards the sky. And then breathing out. We'll all release the hands down from here. Going to tuck the toes under and step back again into your downward dog from here. You're going to bend the legs and we're going to start to walk your feet towards the hands from here. Let your hands come to the hips and then we'll lift all the way up to standing. Take a moment just to feel your transition. Now you've come to standing. Notice how the body feels. Notice maybe the legs and what you feel already from those postures in the legs. It's going to come to the front of the mat and we're just going to work some of our really nice half forward fold movements from here and we'll match it up with the breath. So just take a few moments just to settle in with the feet. You can keep the feet hip distance apart or you can move them slightly in if that feels okay for the stretch of the legs when we come forward. So we're going to take an inhale, we're going to raise the arms, we're going to lift up. You can look up if it does feel okay. Breathing out, soften the knees. We're going to come forward into our forward fold. We're going to find a halfway lift. So lifting up, pressing our hands below the knees, lifting up, inhale. And then exhale, soften and fold. Option is to have hands on the hips if that would be better for you. Soften the knees, use your inhale to lift all the way up. Palms together if it's okay, maybe take a bit of a back bend here. Breathing out, hands down towards the chest. Release the arms down by the sides of the body. Going to do that 2 more times. Remember just to be really in tune with your body today. Inhale, we'll lift up. You can look up if it's good, maybe a bit of a back arch. Breathing out, soften the knees. We're going to come forward. Going to take a halfway lift. So pressing into the legs. Inhale, coming up halfway. And then exhale, folding forward, releasing the head. Soften the knees. You're going to take an inhale. We're going to lift the arms all the way up. You can look up then back if it's good. Breathing out, hands down towards the chest. We'll take 1 more and we'll stay down this time. So inhale, lifting up. You can take a back bend if it feels good. Breathing out, soften the knees, starting to come forward. We'll take 1 more halfway lift. Inhale, lifting up halfway, lengthen out through the crown of your head. And then breathing out, folding forward. And then just find your Uttanasana, your forward fold. At this point, you can adjust if you need to step the feet wider. You can take an option of maybe folding the arms if that felt better. Can you breathe freely? Can you find that position that feels that you're working the position, but you've got a sense of ease, bringing kindness into the body, which then reflects on the mind. We're going to take a twist from here. You can use a block if you need a hand for the block. So you're going to bend into your left leg. You're going to take your left hand down to the floor or your block. Right hand can start to come onto the hip as you twist towards that right side. If it felt an option for the shoulders, we can raise the arms up. So raise the top arm up rather. Take a few moments just to breathe. And then softly releasing. We'll take that right hand down. We're going to bend into that right leg. Same thing on that left side. Left hand comes onto the hip. We twist towards that left side. It's a nice option. We're going to raise the arm up from here. And then slowly releasing down. Soften the knees. Take a nice inhale. And we'll start to lift all the way up. You can take that back arch again if it feels okay. And then breathing out. Hands down towards the chest. Release the arms down by the sides. So you're going to come to the long side of the mat now. And we're going to work into Trikonasana. We're going to add a balance while we're in there, our half moon balance. So if you've got a block, you're going to place it ready. So we're going to open at your feet for your Trikonasana feet from here. And the block's going to go all the way ready over to that right side from here. I'm just going to move a little bit over to this edge so I've got room to lift that leg up. So hands go on the hips. So have a look at your usual position for your feet that you'd come to for your Trikonasana. Just to work the legs a little bit more, especially back of the legs, the hamstrings, you can take the feet just slightly wider than you normally would take for Trikonasana if it feels an option today. Hands are on the hips. We're going to turn the right foot all the way out. Left foot's going to turn in slightly. We're going to raise the arms up from here. We'll just come into triangle first. It's going to look towards that right side. Inhale and then use that exhale to reach towards that right side. Just stay there for a moment. Keep breathing. You can soften that right leg if you need to. You don't want to lock it out. You have got a bit of a micro bend. Bottom hand's going to come down to the leg. Top hand, it can raise up or you can rest it on your hips. Just be careful of your neck from here. You haven't got to look up if it doesn't feel good. The next option, really nice one that I like to take in the Trikonasana now would be to have the palm of that left arm so it faces towards you and taking that arm up and over so you get a really nice stretch into the sides of the body. You're going to release that top hand. You're going to take it onto the hip. You're going to look down to that right foot and you're going to start to bend into that leg. If you took your option of taking your feet a bit wider, just shuffle that back foot in slightly. And we're going to come into our half moon balance. So we're going to start to soften that right leg. We're going to take the block so it's just in front of the foot. It's a little bit of a just trial what's going to work for you. You might need to go and hop that foot in a bit. You're going to come up maybe onto the toes and explore the balance here today. Or then you can start to lift that leg from here. Some of us might be able to lift it a bit higher. Some of us might be able to press into that foot to make it active. Remember, there's no judgment. There's no judgment if you completely wobble out of this pose. Some of us might even be able to take that arm up. We're just staying present to the forever changing situations that our yoga poses bring us. And we'll try and think of graceful when we come back down. So top hands can come to the hip. We'll soften that right knee and we'll come back down to the floor. Use your arms to lift you up and feet to the front. Release the arms and maybe just feel that nice warm glow that balance has brought you. Exactly the same on the other side. So it's going to be your brick, we'll take it all the way over to that left side. We'll just shuffle over slightly so I won't go off the screen. That's going to be down to the floor. That's it. Hands on the hips. So we're going to take your left leg all the way, turn that foot out. Right foot is going to go in slightly. Oh, and if you did that on the other side, your triangle, a wider one, take your feet just a slightly bit wider, just to get a really nice stretch into the back of the legs. So the palms are going to be lifting, arms lifting, and take a nice inhale. And then as you breathe out, we're going to reach over towards that left side. Just hold it there for a few breaths. Make sure that you're not completely locking out that left leg. It's got a bit of a micro bend, or bend it more if you need to. Bottom hand's going to come down. You're going to lift up that top one, or you can take that hand onto the hip. We're going to stay there. We're going to just breathe, enjoy that feeling of space and expansion with the breath. If you enjoyed that option on the other side, palm of that top arm faces towards you, and we can take that top arm up and over for a bit of a deeper side bend stretch. And then we'll take that top hand, right hand back to the hip. We're going to start to look down towards that left foot from here. We're going to bend into that left leg. If you took it quite wide, you might want to hop that foot in at this point. Your hand's going to take the block and you're going to take it forward of that foot. You're going to start to lift up onto the toes of that back foot, engage into the leg, and then explore where your balance takes you. And it might feel completely different on one side to the other. Just notice what happens. If you notice yourself getting cross or angry and frustrated when you do that, just see if you can replace them with just feeling calm with simply the breath. You can raise that top arm if you feel quite steady in the posture. And then hands comes back to the hips, soften that left leg, finds the floor with that back foot. Use your arms and we'll lift all the way up, feet to the front, and releasing the hands down. Take a few moments just to feel that breath. And just let that breath just slow down. Often with the balances that we often forget to breathe, or the breath just, it speeds up. So just let yourself feel calm simply with the breath right now. And then let the eyes blink open. We're going to stay where we are for a moment on this side from here with our feet. And we're going to take our feet, we're going to open the feet out to the diagonal edges from here. We're going to do a little bit of a side lunge position from here. So hands go on the hips first of all. We're going to bend the legs from here and just come into a squat first of all. Take a nice few breaths, feeling the feet, just gently engaging, drawing up from the earth. And then slowly we're going to start to lengthen into that right leg as you take some weight onto that left side. We're going to allow ourselves to swap over. So you might need to adjust the leg. If you're going to come into a bit of the deeper option, you might need to take the legs slightly wider for this one. You're just going to do that a few times, just going from side to side. Remember that ahimsa, that being non-violent, it's not just physically with the body, it's also about what goes on in the mind, not judging yourself, just replacing those feelings with just being present and calm in the situation that you're in. So you can continue to do that a few more times, or you might be able to take your fingertips and you might take the fingertips to the floor. Same thing, you might go over to that other side. Just see what happens. So if your fingertips did reach the floor, you can always take that option as when they come down, you might lift that heel, not lift the heel, lift the toes, you're on the heel. I find it with that foot as well. It's easier for me to lift that heel. If you come down quite low, you can creep all the way over to the other side. So this is your side lunge pose. Really nice stretch for the muscles in the back of the leg, so for the hamstrings when you do it. I'm going to do one more, finish off on that left side. And then bringing yourself all the way back to the centre, lifting all the way up. And just turn your feet back to the front. We'll take a nice wide leg, standing wide legs, forward fold from here. So make sure that the feet are facing forward, or if you can, if it works for the body, turn the big toes in slightly. It does feel like you're a bit pigeon-toed. Hands on the hips. Inhale, and as we breathe out, soften the knees. We're hinging at the hips. We're starting to come forward. Just notice maybe halfway fit what that feels like. And your option here is you can stay here, or you can release forward, can take the hands to the floor. We can even fold the arms from here, and head nice and heavy. Take a few moments just to breathe and let go. And then hands can return back to the hips. We'll lift up nice strong legs as we do so, feeling the support of the earth, allowing us to lift. And then heel toe or step your feet back in, and we'll come back to the front of the mat. We're going to come down to the floor. So we'll take a nice inhale. So we're going to lift up. You can look up if it's good. And then soften the knees, breathing out, folding forward for our Uttanasana again. Forward, forward, over the legs from here. You're going to bend the legs and you're going to come all the way down to the floor. At this point, if you've got your belt, we're going to grab your belt from here, or anything that will work as a belt. And we're going to lie ourselves down onto our sides. If you need extra padding for the hips, then you can do that. You can pad underneath the hips. So we're going to lie down. We'll lie down on the left side first of all. If you can lengthen out your legs from here. You can use your other hand as a bit of a support to support the head. If it's not comfortable, feel free to bend the legs. You can do that option as well. So we're going to allow ourselves from here just to press out with the foot. It's a great one as well for a little bit of core strength, this one. So you need a little bit of core strength to keep you steady so you're not going to roll backwards and forwards. So what we're going to do from here is we're going to bend that right knee towards us. And we're either going to take hold of our belt from here, hook around with that foot, or we're going to take hold of the foot, or we're going to take hold of the big toes from here. And then slowly allowing ourselves to start to lengthen that leg. So you might find it's just a little way, or you might find that you lift a bit more. And what you want to do is you want to still press out with that other leg that's on the floor from here. So feel that you've got a bit of support, navel stretching, navel is engaging from here. You can always bend the arms slightly, and if it was an option, encourage that leg towards you. I do feel quite wobbly in this one. This is one where my hip, some of us, you probably might feel the same, that it feels like you're going to either roll backwards or forwards. So you really got to do a bit of core work to keep you steady from here. And then slowly releasing. Allow that leg to lengthen down. And then just allow yourself to swap completely over. So this time we're going to be lying on your right side, and we'll do the same on your other leg. Again, please pad up your hips if it feels too much pressure on your hips from here, just lying down. And you can use your arm again to support, hold on to that head. You can lengthen out with your legs from here, or if you need to bend the legs slightly, that's absolutely fine from here. So you're going to try and extend out, really press out with that bottom leg that's on the floor. You've also got an option, if it did feel more of an option, you can always take that hand down if that felt a little bit better. Your left leg is going to bend this time and come towards you. You draw on that navel so you don't roll backwards, and you're either going to take your belt around the ball of your foot from here, or you're going to take hold of your foot or ankle or your big toe, and just working with that feeling of kindness as well. It doesn't matter if we straighten our legs from here. You can just work with your breath to allow, see what happens. Can you still breathe from here? Remember, that breath is an indicator of where we are in that posture. If we can't breathe properly, then it's not going to calm you. You might just need to back out slightly out of that posture. The aim of yoga is that we want to create this feeling of being present, being calm in the forever changing situations of those yoga poses. You can always bend the arms slightly if you need to. Always quite a good one, this one, isn't it? And then slowly release. You might take that hand down, just a bit of support so you don't roll over at this point, and coming all the way down. And then just pressing yourself up from here. And just take your belt, just move it to the sides for now, then it just move away. And then we'll work into our last posture from here. So the last posture we're going to work, we've done some really nice warm-ups, is we're going to work into our half splits pose. It's a really nice option. So those of you, if you're not going to do knee work, rather than doing the half splits pose, you can always, we haven't done this in the class today, you can do your intense side bend stretch. So this one here. So you can work a little bit of lifting and lowering. So you can take that option if you're not doing knee work. But if you are doing knee work, we're going to step your right leg forward first. You can use your blanket at this point to pad your knee. And you want to step it. You can release that back foot down from here. And as I was going to say as well, if you had a block, 2 blocks, that's another option. And don't worry if you haven't. We haven't always got these things indoors. Sometimes that's a really nice option for people that you lift up a little bit higher. So you can either do that, you can use books, that might work, or fingers to the floor. So you can take an inhale, then as you breathe out, you're going to start to send your hips back. If it was an option, you come up onto that heel, you lift the toes, and you can think about maybe folding forward over that leg. And the same thing if you're doing your intense forward bend stretch, fold forward over that leg. And then take an inhale to come forward. You might come up onto the fingertips, look up. You can still do the same thing if you're doing your standing posture instead. And then breathing out. We're going to do that a few times, folding forward over that leg from here. And inhale, lifting up from here. So make this your last one now. So you're going to fold forward over that leg from here. Release them. We're just going to hold it there. Do you feel in a place that feels comfortable for you? You might have a really deep bend in your legs, and that's absolutely fine. Head is nice and relaxed from here. Can you create calmness, kindness, compassion, simply with the breath, and allowing our minds just to stay focused in what we're doing right now. And then slowly lifting up. We're going to swap legs from here. We're going to release the legs. We're going to do work into that left side. So your left leg's going to come forward, or the same thing if you're coming to standing, just do the other leg. Pads that back knee as much as you need to. Okay, and you've got your option of blocks. If that felt better, you can lift yourself up. It's not going to feel as strong, and it might even feel a little bit of a sense of grounding from here. And so you're going to take an inhale. We take that lift from here. You can come up halfway if you're in your intense forward bend stretch. And then breathing out, releasing over that leg. You can lift up the toes if that's good. You're going to fold over that leg. Take your next inhale to lift up again. You might come up onto the fingertips if it's good. And breathing out, folding forward, releasing over. And do one more from here. Inhale to lift up. And exhale to fold forward. Good. And just stay there, just stay with the breath. Can you immerse yourself just in that moment now so you feel fully in tune with your breath, with the body? And then slowly lifting up from here. You're going to release out of that position. If you were standing, bring yourself down to the floor and move everything that you don't need out of the way. And you're going to allow yourself to roll all the way down. So you're going to come all the way back down to your back. So reach the arms out, draw the navel in and roll yourself down from here. And we did a lot of hip work as well as stretching into those hamstrings, the muscles in the back of the leg. We're just going to close the hips a bit by taking your right leg, crossing it over your left. You can either hold it here or lift up the legs from here. You can either hold on to your knees or hold on to your feet and ankles and just gently encourage them to move a little bit closer towards that body. Stay there, nice, long, slow breaths. Relax the forehead. Feel all that space that you've created for good energy to flow about. Release, take the foot down, release that foot back, and we'll cross back. This time left leg crosses over right. Can either stay here or lifting up the legs. Either take hold of thighs, knees, ankles or the feet. And just gently feel that action of drawing closer together. Just feeling a bit of strength closing around your hips now. And then when you're ready, slowly release. Let your legs come to the floor. If it's an option, you're going to allow your legs to lengthen out from here. Let your palms just face up towards the sky, or alternatively rest them on your belly. And just feel fully present with the body right now. Either a soft gaze or closing your eyes. And just simply be aware of how you're feeling. When we're able to open up into the body, it makes us feel good. It gives us a sense of when we feel energy can flow freely. It makes us feel good. It makes us feel connected to the moment. You might even have a really strong connection to just your awareness to your breath right now. What does it feel like now to surrender, to let go, to not work the body anymore, to let go of all those poses that we've done and just simply be present with the moment that you're in now. So you may have the time, or you may wish to spend a little bit longer in your relaxation today. So if you need that, just stay where you are, just relax. But if you're ready to move out of your Shavasana now, just connect with your breath again. Slowly wriggle your fingers, slowly wriggle the toes. It might feel nice just to take a nice stretch. Raise the arms behind and just have a good stretch into the fingertips. Release the arms, let the legs bend, and just hug your knees in, draw your knees in. You might be feeling it around your hips right now. And then when you're ready, slowly just let yourself roll over onto the right side of the body if you're coming up to seated. And just find something that works for you. Resting the hands, maybe on the knees, or lift the palms if that feels good. Whatever option, just go with it. Listen to what the body needs right now. Soft gaze or closing the eyes and just be still. Can you feel that energy maybe that you've opened up in the body today? Can you notice how when you open up space in the body that it changes maybe the calmness, how we're feeling in the mind? Knowing that circumstances, situations, they're forever changing, a little bit like our yoga poses. I'm going to leave you with something just really short from a really nice book, The Yamas and the Niyamas from Deborah Adele, and it's about ahimsa. So like the body, the mind and the soul need time to digest and assimilate. Like the body, the mind and the soul need time to rest. We create this rest by allowing space that we can breathe in. Not more clutter, but more space. Space to reflect. Space to journal. Space for closure. Space for imagination. And space to feel the calling of the life force within us. Just allow your whole practice to seal. Bring your hands together. Bring your hands in towards your heart center. Connect to this place where we feel love and compassion, not just for ourselves, but for others. Just softly bow your head down towards your hands. Let the eyes softly blink open. And as you inhale, slowly, peacefully, with a loving heart, lift your head and really feel that your heart lifts out fully to the world. Namaste. Really hope you enjoyed that class and look forward to chatting to you soon. Take care.